Okay, good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Marvin Lyman. I am the director of the CARES Act Assistance Program for the Denver Minority Business Development Agency. We are so glad to have all of you present today and glad to have such a distinguished panel of guests to share with our many MBEs and MSMEs that are present, along with other businesses that are present on this particular event. We are recording this event, so we want to make sure that everyone is well aware that we are recording, and this particular event will live in infamy on the internet. So once this event concludes, we will take time to do some minor edits and share it on the MBDA and Mountain Plains Minority Supplier Development Council website. Again, we are extremely grateful to have this particular event, the India U.S. trade event. This marks a great accomplishment through the great work of Purnima Boria in reaching out to the Denver MBDA to make sure that opportunities are coming to small businesses and really building a bridge between India and the U.S. So we are grateful for her. And so I know we can't give a round of applause right now, but I see the smile, so we know that we all are excited about this opportunity. With that, let me begin by telling you a little bit about my friend Purnima Boria. She's the founder and CEO of the National U.S. Chamber, and she is a recognized international organization, which is a recognized international organization with its global headquarters in the great state of Colorado. Her organization serves all the 50 states in the U.S. and Asia headquarters in India. Their mission is to promote bilateral trade and investments between U.S. and India for small, medium, and large corporations with government and businesses that result in business deals. The NUICC has been an advisor to the United Secretary of Commerce for MBDA, a federal agency to shape future policies and programs that set a foundation for growth and policymaking for 7.8 million businesses, a $1 trillion economy of the U.S. Over the past 15 years, the Chamber has grown to have 10,000 members across a wide spectrum of industries. She has connected companies all over the world with visionary businesses and governmental leaders to accelerate trade and investment in the U.S., India, and other countries. Please welcome my friend Purnima Boria.
Namaste, India, as well as morning to everyone in the United States. I am very excited to present this webinar today. We have 100 plus participants, thanks to Marvin and his great effort. And I especially want to give a very warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Consul General of India in Houston. He represents us all in the mountain region as well as many other states. Marvin, if you can please show the couple of slides. And after that, we are going to show a little video on India, which was exported from the website of United States Department of Commerce Export Division. So, Marvin. There is some technical glitch, I believe. Please stand by.
Just a moment, I do apologize.
No problems. I will take up this few minutes while Marvin is working on this. Looks like we got it. Let's go to the first one. Yeah, thank you. The culture of doing business, we must know that because that is the most important thing in doing business with any country, in India. And that is the reason you see me wearing a sari today, because I want you to get used to the woman in the sari. When you go to India to do business, you will be seeing a lot of women in the sari, and believe me, they can conduct million-dollar deals. So just wanted to share my culture this morning with you. Next slide. National U.S. India Chamber of Commerce, as Marvin has already described. I don't want to take more of your time, so we can just continue to switch slides, please. Again, our vision is to promote bilateral trade between United States and India through business relationships that often results in business deals. What do? We find partners, distributors, dealers, and so forth. We take trade missions to India and vice versa, consultation. We handhold basically uh, every business and make sure that the deals between India and US are consummated well. Because if we serve businesses and they make money, we are known for making those relationships happen. So it's very important for us for businesses to thrive. Again, the US and India pretty much similar services. Go ahead. So if you have any questions throughout the event, we are going to be able to take questions on the chat box. So Marvin will be collecting those. And towards the end, Consul General has generously offered to be on the call so that we can go ahead and answer some of your questions by the government of India as well as the private sector. Go ahead, Marvin. Let's show everyone a little video so that you understand India really well. And this is made by United States. Thank you. The reason we are putting out this video is that it is very important to know India. If you want to engage with exporting to India or importing from India, knowing the country as a whole is going to only help you understand India. And of course, the Consul General is also going to represent India in the best manner that anyone can. You can exit from there.
I apologize. It's not letting me switch to this particular window at the moment. We may have to come back to it at the end.
No problem. We can show it after the Consul General speaks. So without wasting any more time, let me introduce you to the Consul General of India in Houston. As I said, he represents various states of United States with India. He is situated in Houston, but he is very much part of the mountain region. He did the very first webinar with our governor a week ago with Colorado governor and the government of India, one of the states, state of Karnataka, from which Shashidhara is. And so you will be hearing from the Consul General of India, Consul General Asim R. Mahajan. Namaste, Consul General.
Good morning. Good morning to all of you who are joining from United States, and good evening to people who are joining from India. Distinguished panelists, all the companies who are joining this webinar on India-US business opportunities today. It gives me great pleasure to be part of this. Just a couple of days back, we have organized a very, I should say, successful event with joint collaboration with the state of Colorado on highlighting the opportunities in the India-Colorado partnership. The opportunities are immense, as was brought out in our interaction that day, in areas like aerospace, defense, advanced manufacturing, energy, and other areas. India-US relations, given that our economies complement each other, commonalities in our cultures, our shared values, and also as two vibrant democracies, India and United States are natural partners. We also have a very strong connect between India and this part of United States. Trade and economic ties are an important component of our partnership. Bilateral trade, which stood at around $150 billion in 2019, has been registering a very healthy rate of growth. We also have growing investments between both countries with around 2,000 US companies present in India and around 150 companies present here. The number is growing. The sectors are growing. and trade is growing. So what I intend to do in the couple of next minutes, given the time we have, I want to show you a brief presentation just for the ease of projecting some data and also, highlighting to you what India offers and the immense potential in this relationship. So as you see in the first slide, India is a country which is amongst the fastest growing economies in the world. It is amongst the top investment destinations. And one thing which really sets us apart is the demographics. By the average wage in India will only be 29 by the year 2025, and we have a very large trained technical pool of manpower. We have done several reforms. While we do not have the time now, but as the consulate here, we would be happy to connect with you later. We have a lot of services which we offer. But India has been undertaking some major reforms and in the recent years in sectors like agriculture, auto components, and many other areas. Then on ease of doing business, India in the last few years in the World Bank doing business report, as you can find, has jumped 68 positions, which I think is credited to our intent to reform and to make it easy for businesses to operate in India and the business friendly environment we have to offer. Some of the major reforms have been in the areas of starting a business, dealing and trading across borders, resolving insolvency and areas like this. Coming to this is, I think, an important slide which I wanted to really share with all of you, which highlights the immense potential and the areas which we can harness this potential in. As you can find, the cumulative FDI from India to US has been growing steadily. Similarly, from India to United States also, the FDI has been growing. The sectors which are of interest, as you can find, we have complementarities and matching interest in many common sectors. I'm sure many of the businesses who would be joining this webinar today and who are represented are operating in these sectors like energy, electronics, healthcare, power generation, new technologies, startups. We want to partner with you in all these areas. India offers a complementing interest in terms of the large market and in terms of technology tie-ups for joint manufacturing, for licensing. The avenues are immense. Indian companies in United States, as you see from this slide, the number of companies has been growing steadily. Investments have been growing, and they are creating all these number of jobs in United States in many different areas, including information technology, life sciences, manufacturing, automotives, energy, aerospace and defense. Then the micro and small medium enterprises. As Purnima ji mentioned in the beginning, and later our speakers would, I'm sure, highlight that India is a country of over 1.3 billion people and a very diverse country which has a very large base of medium and small scale enterprises. It's, as you can see on the slide, numbering almost to 63.4 million. Similarly, United States also has a very large number of companies. So I think the real objective of why we are interacting today is to connect and build these partnerships, and we want to act as a bridge for that. That is exactly what the MBDA and the chamber, our chamber there in Colorado, which is represented by Ms. Purnima, which is the National U.S. Chamber. We want to act as bridges between companies based here and companies in India. The sectors are only illustrative, as you find on this slide. They include areas like chemicals, metals, electrical machinery, textiles, rural engineering, wellness, service industry, manufacturing. I should also add to this that Houston is the energy capital, and we work with a lot of energy, petrochemical, new renewable energy companies. So those are again areas which offer immense potential. We don't have the time to go into the depth of each of these, but this last slide is, it actually summarizes what we are trying to do and how we are trying to scale up this partnership and our joint effort to promote trade and investment. Global supply chains is an area which is much in news. I was in the World Trade Organization before coming here. For the last 4 years, I was in Geneva in India's mission to the World Trade Organization. And I think there also we were discussing about trade and investment, but more so about our new rules in our trading system. But global supply chains, India offers an immense opportunity for companies in United States to go and manufacture not only for the Indian domestic market, but to export to a large base of countries in Asia, in Africa, and even back to United States. We have many successful ventures, not just of the past, but even in recent years, during these times of this pandemic, also in areas like healthcare, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing of PPE. There are many such areas, and this slide gives you a fair amount of detail on each of the different areas, including chemicals, information technology, oil and gas, technology, financial technology, then education, textiles, manufacturing, food processing. So I just wanted to set the scene for this interaction, because we really don't have the time to go into the depth of each sector. But I also wanted to highlight what services the consulate offers. We please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can connect you to agencies in India. We can get you information about the regulatory framework in India. We can get you information about the rules, about tariffs, about any procedures, and we can also assist you in many other ways. So with this, I think I hand it over back to you, Marvin, and to Ms. Purnima, and I will be happy to connect with any of you individually and even later to answer any of the questions you may have. Please consider us as your partners in this joint effort. And also, I should end with one thing, again, highlighting again that the potential is immense, the opportunity is immense, and both countries, there is a very strong desire to. India is a reliable partner. We share, as I highlighted in the beginning, we share a lot of complementarity. So let us work together. So thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Consul General, for with a short notice you accepted our invitation. And I know you have 3 other webinars today. So we are really, really grateful. And I wanted to introduce the government of India, because you are the sole authority of India as far as our state is concerned and mountain region is concerned. And there are many.
Not really, you are all ambassadors of this relationship, and you represent the potential. So thank you again.
Thank you. And I know that there are many complicated rules and regulations that we may not be able to answer, and Consul General is the right person to answer those. So that this is a team effort. Thank you so much, Consul General. Again, we are really grateful for your acceptance to come together with this astute group and to this August meeting. Thank you. Now, if Marvin has the video ready to go, we'll go to that. Otherwise, we'll go with the introductions, please.
Let's go with introductions. For some reason, the system is not recognizing our video.
Okay, no problem. We'll share that with you later in the recording that we'll send to all of you. Now, first of all, a very warm welcome to the team in Colorado, which is Selena, Karen, Michelle, all of you, and the team from India. A very warm welcome to all of you. We'll give you a minute or so to introduce yourself, starting with Selena and going to Michelle, Karen, Eric, Aman, Shashidharaji, and Sudhir Kumarji. Each person, please give your introduction. And then I think Michelle is going to join us at 9:30. So the next person can jump in after Selena. Karen, please, you go ahead after that. Thank you.
Good morning, and thanks to the Minority Business Development Agency for organizing the webinar. My name is Selena Marcus, and I work for the U.S. Department of Commerce International Trade Administration / Denver Export Assistance Center. We are the export marketing arm for the U.S. federal government. We have offices in 95 countries. I'm sorry, we have offices in over 95 countries, and we're located in the U.S. embassies and consulates around the world. We assist U.S. exporters whose products meet 51% U.S. origin rule. I handle the bioscience and the agribusiness sector for Colorado and Wyoming. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Karen Gerwitz. I'm the president and CEO of the World Trade Center here in Denver. We are part of the Global World Trade Centers Association. There are several in India. It's one of our fastest growing countries of World Trade Centers. There are 320 World Trade Centers in 100 countries, and we are grateful to be part of that network. The World Trade Center Denver has been operating for 33 years here in the Denver market. We serve companies throughout the state of Colorado, but we also have clients in surrounding states of Wyoming, New Mexico, and Arizona. So we are just so pleased to be here today. The World Trade Center is a trade association, private trade association. We do help companies with exporting, importing, investment, and really helping to solve operational challenges globally. So we do that through a number of ways. We are consultants. We also offer training and events, and we believe in a peer-to-peer network. So I look forward to hearing from all of you today and to contributing where I can. Thanks for having me.
Next, we can go with Eric, please.
Yes, good morning. My name is Eric Stevens, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'd like to thank Denver NBDA for having me, as well as my esteemed colleagues on the panel. I represent Exim Bank of the United States. India has its own Exim Bank, what they might do, but from in terms of the Exim Bank U.S., we're a federal agency that promotes American jobs by providing credit, insurance, and access to capital across the United States for U.S. businesses looking to export. One of the great opportunities within the United States is having an ability to export outside of the United States, and utilizing the resources we have available is a great opportunity to do so. I primarily I actually work for the Minority Women-Owned Development Team. Our goal within that particular team is to educate and counsel minority businesses on the aspects of trade, providing counsel in terms of organizations they can work with, as well as the products we do have available. Our team puts on webinars, symposiums, to make sure small and medium-sized businesses know the information necessary to be successful in that area of exporting. I look forward to joining the panel today and actually working with you guys and making sure that our panelists as well as our guests today get the information they need to be successful.
Thank you. If I may request Aman Agarwal to go ahead and speak, please.
Thank you, Purnima. Honorable His Excellency Mr. Mahajan, my colleagues from the Government of United States of America, various departments, and my colleagues from India, Sudhir and Mr. Sridharan. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to be at your forum of the MBEs and the MSMEs by the Minorities Business Development Agency, along with the India-US Chamber, which is being headed by Purnima. I am Professor of Finance and Director of the Indian Institute of Finance. We are an institution which has been researching and doing large number of activities apart from providing educational programs, and have emerged as a think tank in the last 33 years. I also edit a journal called Finance India, and this is a quarterly journal of about 400 pages each, being brought out with over 6 Nobel laureates associated with the journal. I can proudly say one of these studies, which was published way back in 92, 93, 94, a joint study with Florida International University, got the eye of the US Capitol. And as a result, the Parliament in India, as well as the US Capitol, and even the FBI contacted us and the authors of that study as well in the United States and here to actually go about looking at the overpricing and underpricing of bills, which was actually causing a lot of loss to both the governments, which included United States and India, because of the wrongful invoicing of bills being done by traders, and which was meaning billions of losses of dollars and rupees to India as well. So that is a brief introduction. Apart from that, I'm a dear friend of Purnima, and I think she is more Indian than American, although she has an American citizenship now, and she works for the American Chamber. But from heart, she is still very much an Indian, and I am honored to be at this platform again. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Next, if I may introduce Shashidharaji from Bangalore. Shashidharaji, please speak. Let's go to Mr.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, very good morning to the August members, starting from the Honorable Consul General. And I must thank Purnima ji, National U.S. India Chamber of Commerce and BDA for giving me an opportunity to speak about Karnataka. And I'm a Deputy Director working with the Chief Minister's Office in a cell called Investment Promotion Integrated Development Cell, wherein our focus is to get into the world of the investors who comes in and get them a quick insight of what kind of facilitation that is being offered from our side, and make them see that they make their fortune by being here in Bangalore. I think I would be able to, share more information during the course of this particular webinar. Thank you all.
Kumarji, please go ahead.
Uh, very good evening, or rather, very good morning to every one of you. His Excellency, Consul General of India, Mr. Mahajan, Purnimaji, and all esteemed panelists. I am Commander Sudhir Kumar. I had been in government for near about 24 years, serving Indian Navy, and after that, near about 15 to 16 years in different MNCs in advisory capacity and worked with the Indian government also. In last 4 or 5 years, I had been dedicated myself towards India Development Initiative, which is by the present government, initiated by the present government, and especially our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and his Council of Ministers. I have written 2 books. That is, first is India Farming. It became #1 bestseller at Amazon. Then I wrote another book after a year in 2018. It was India, a 20 trillion economy by 2035-40, which was released by Minister of State Dr. Jitendra Singh at PMO. At present, I am associated with one of the largest private university, that is Sharda University, very near to my friend Amana Grigwal's institute. Just we are neighbors, and we are doing at present. I am doing my services towards the skill development initiative at a very large scale. We have students from near about 84 countries. But my emphasis at present in advisory capacity, for which, I am very grateful to Purnima ji that she has asked me, and I feel honored to be part of this panel discussion. And I have got a lot of interest in rural development. Even in my book, I said that India development towards self-reliant, it passes through the villages of India. So what I'm going to speak, I'm going to give my views that how, rural India and rural US, they can have very natural partnership. We can grow our business in the opportunities available over there, and looking forward to listening all of you. And once again, thank you very much, Purnima ji, and all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm waiting for Michelle Hadwiger. Is she around? Has Michelle joined us? If not, in essence of time, I'll go ahead and start the questions so that, so Selena, you'll be the very first one. As you all know, Selena Marquez is a senior international trade specialist for exports to various countries in the world, belongs to U.S. Department of Commerce. So Selena, my question to you is, are economic indicators pointing to international trade as a method of recovery, sustainability for MBEs? I'll pose all the questions. If you need me to repeat it, I will. How many MBEs actually participate in your export programs? Any of you have helped with India markets? Any MBEs you have helped with India markets? Let's say I know nothing about exporting, but I have conducted my research and found that a foreign country like India has a high demand for my particular product. What is my first step and how can the US Department of Commerce assist me? What's your opinion on supply chain shifting from China to India? Selena.
Yes, experts and various organizations report that keeping trade open is central to achieving economic recovery for MBEs and frankly all companies. Fostering a favorable business environment will be critical to spur growth and investment for the COVID recovery. The U.S. Department of Commerce nationwide, our client base is roughly 7 to 9% of minority business enterprises. And we've assisted many companies as well as MBEs in the Indian marketplace. As the Consulate General had stated, there's top industry sectors, which include energy, agricultural, civil engineering, defense, educational services, environmental technology, healthcare, IT, mining, and safety. If a company does not have export experience / knowledge, I would highly suggest they enroll in an export educational class to learn about the process and become familiar with the terminology. My esteemed friend and colleague, Karen Gurwitz, the World Trade Center offers a great educational courses for MBEs to launch into the international realm. Regarding our assistance, we offer, I would suggest too that companies take the classes and then they identify or connect with a qualified distributor. And then they become knowledgeable about any regulations or certifications that are required for their product in the marketplace. We support companies by introducing market research, connecting companies with partners, guidance on procurements or tenders. We provide advocacy for large companies and we do product promotion. I'll speak shortly about the supply chain process. It's not my expertise, but the American relationship with India and China is undergoing a stark and rapid and perhaps a permanent transformation. I think US businesses are looking to India as a source for partnering goods, which will become a partial replacement for imports for China. Obviously, India is a natural destination. It has an English-speaking workforce, highly skilled workforce, cost of labor is inexpensive, and a growing marketplace of 1.3 billion people whose disposable income is growing. We have 7 offices throughout the country, so should you need assistance, please contact me at selena.marquez@trade.gov or 303-809-2557. Be happy to assist you in entering the marketplace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Selena. Although we could not see you, I don't know if you prefer to not have your camera on, and which is perfectly
Oh, I'm
fine.
sorry, I thought it was on.
No, we want to see you. So,
Yeah.
so
Darn it.
we'll ask you to speak again. So great answers. And this is the reason why we are putting this format together with the World Trade Center, with your office, with the governor's office, and everyone, so that we all can work together along with Consul General's office to promote trade between our state, our country with India, because as we know, India is going to lead the 21st century, and I'm smiling because it is a matter of opportunity for all of us to take our businesses forward with the World Trade Center and their great educational programs that they have. This is exactly what we need to work together to promote trade between the United States and India. So with that, since I mentioned our astute speaker from the World Trade Center, Karen, my friend, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much, Purnima.
I am going to ask you very easy questions, and I'll do it one at a time, not like I challenged Selena. Selena, you did a great job, by the way. Of
Thank you.
your 377 business members, how many of these firms are MBEs? And can you talk about your efforts to increase MBE participation through the World Trade Center programs?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for the kind words, both Selena and Purnima. We appreciate that very much. Um, we don't actually track our general membership in terms of their ethnic or racial diversity, but we do have an incredible program that we're focusing on immigrant and refugee entrepreneurs. It's an accelerator program that could launch them into a new global business. And we've got 50 in that program now. So I would guess that we have at least a quarter, possibly even a third of our members are of color, and that is wonderful because we are diversifying our international business community here in Colorado, not only by racial diversity, but by diversity of thought. And we absolutely find that the immigrant entrepreneurs that are part of us, you know, they're twice as likely to start their own businesses. They're also 60% more likely to conduct a global business. So they're already globally minded, well-connected, have wonderful ideas. And what we're doing is helping them scale their business to a global trading business within about 4 to 6 months, depending on their readiness. So we're helping companies export, import, and even sell services overseas. So that's been an enormous win for our organization. We've been working on this almost 3 years and very proud of the program. We hope to soon scale this program to even more immigrant and refugee entrepreneurs, and we'll be promoting that through partners like you, Purnima, and others to attract companies that are looking to start their own global business. So we're excited to continue to serve this wonderful community of new Americans here, and I can tell you it's one of my favorite things that we do at the World Trade Center. So. I can't hear you, Purnima. I think you're on mute.
I said that's wonderful to know that you are passionate about a new project, which is only going to help MBEs. For MBEs and small businesses not currently conducting business internationally, how can your trade counseling services assist businesses in increasing revenue with export services?
Yes, of course. Thank you. And I failed to mention that we do partner with the State Minority Business Office at the Office of Economic Development, as well as the U.S. Export Assistance Center on these initiatives. And the Minority Business Office at the state level is actually scholarshiping several minority-owned businesses or women-owned businesses through our programming of education. You mentioned our training, and we do offer a robust training program here at the World Trade Center Denver. We even offer a certificate of international trade. And so if you are looking to learn about the nuances of trade, we would welcome you into our classrooms. We, of course, have those online as well. So even if you're remote, we hope that you will participate and join us. So our goal really is to continue to help companies connect globally. I looked at the recent trade statistics of Colorado with India, and it looks like exports are up 30% to India from Colorado over the past year. Imports are down 30%. So we're exporting a good deal to India, and mostly in medical devices, electronics, and other technical goods, but of course agriculture as well. So it's exciting to think of ways to partner with India. We're considering also doing some virtual trade missions, and I'd like to select India as a destination for those virtual trade missions. We do have a number of partners in India, especially Noida, Bangalore, and Mumbai. They're all very strong partners of Denver. And we'd like to work with you, Purnima, on leading a virtual trade mission of companies from one sector at a time. I think it's easier to find partners and and find new avenues of opportunity in India.
And you have, Karen, the entire World Trade Center. So you take care of the entire world. So we will be happy to take India off your plate and support you in whatever way we can, along with MBDA as our partner. So I have one more question for you, but I'll hold on and ask Eric a question.
Okay.
Since U.S. Department, U.S. Axiom Bank is a very important piece, because without access to capital, we all cannot be in business. So, Eric, my question to you is, access to capital is a need for all businesses. Can you talk about a medium and long-term loan guarantee program that you have? Are there certain countries that are excluded from Axiom Bank services, and are there any workarounds?
Okay, thank you. Great question. In terms of medium and long-term premium, those particular programs usually for large purchases in the neighborhood of 10 years. The great point about our medium and long-term actual programs is they give you a lot of benefits in terms of coverage up to 100% of commercial and political risk. We also have a lot of flexible financing programs that guarantees it. Now, those programs give you an opportunity to get into those new markets and make sure you have the coverage you feel comfortable with in terms of getting to that next level. But one of the things you mentioned in the initial part of the question was access to capital, which is crucial to our minority
What time is the
businesses.
TRS call login?
It's 11, right? That's
Start the video.
Hello? Okay, thank you. I know we had some background noise going for a minute. One of the things you mentioned earlier was the access to capital, which is crucial to minority and women-owned businesses from the minority aspect. And one of the best ways to utilize that is utilizing XM's credit insurance, which is what we're known for. Basically, we do have working capital and along the other medium programs, but the export credit insurance is what we're really known for. And the ability to not only secure your purchase but borrow against it gives the banks that you're presently working with the opportunity to feel comfortable extending that line of credit to you to give you access to that particular capital. So that's one of the best ways I can say for any business starting out or even seasoned businesses to utilize that particular aspect of it, not tying up any additional funds, but utilizing what you already have available while protecting it with credit insurance. Now, in terms of countries we're open in over 180 countries. We have what we call a country limitation schedule on our website, CLS listings, which lists all the countries we're open in. We do have some countries that we are not open in for political and financial reasons. And we take that very seriously. So we make sure when we do make that particular decision, it is explained within our actual documentation on our website.
Back to Selena for one more question, one more time, since you were off
Yes.
camera. I want to
Yes.
repeat, because this is a very big need of the businesses. Let's say I know nothing about
I believe you're on mute, Permina. I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
There you go.
Again,
Sorry.
it's the same question.
The technology.
I'm sorry, just going on and on. As I asked you before, let's say I know nothing about exporting to a foreign country like India. And it has high demand. As I'm reading the chat box, I know there is a automotive company that has interest in selling cars to India. So what is my first step, and how can you help me?
Well, the first step, if you know absolutely nothing about exporting, again, I would highly recommend that you do an online course with the World Trade Center. We also offer webinars on export.gov, on ABCs of exporting, because you really need to learn the steps of exporting and understand the terminology. So I would highly encourage you to do that research. Secondly, to be successful in any foreign market, you're going to need an in-country partner. a reliable, qualified, legitimate partner and help in identifying that individual or entity. And there's several organizations here that can assist with that venture. And then thirdly, depending on the product or the service, I would research any certifications or regulatory requirements that are required to get the product cleared through customs. Those are the three basic foundation steps, I think, for entering India as well as any market. You're on mute again, Purnina.
Somebody. Anyway,
there you go.
My next question is to our esteemed Honorable Consul General of India. You have been organizing various events, as you mentioned, a very successful one with Colorado Governor, and congratulations for that. But you are organizing these events with chambers like ourselves and other chambers in your jurisdiction on very focused on sectors, and also with states to promote trade and investment between Southern United States and India. How do you plan the future roadmap for this partnership? What do you see as a potential of Indo-US relationship? Consul General.
Thank you, Purnimaji. Thank you for the question. As I mentioned at the outset in the beginning that I had mentioned the huge potential in our relationship between India and United States, what makes us natural partners, the complementarities, the shared values as two largest vibrant democracies, and this matching desire. As I told you, I was earlier in the World Trade Organization and I moved to Houston in January this year. But ever since I have come, despite the pandemic, I have seen such a great desire for companies here to connect to Indian companies. Even during the pandemic, we have seen a lot of areas which have witnessed partnerships like healthcare, medical research, energy. Of course, we have several ongoing collaborations. India-US energy relationship has scaled up just in the last 3 years from it is now reached out 10 billion. A lot of companies, especially in the area of smart technologies, technology tie-ups, ancillary services, manufacturing petrochemicals in India. India also is a very big market. So this is something which I try to explain to US companies that India in itself, the diversity of India, the scale of India as the youngest country in the world, as one of the fastest growing economies, it offers a huge opportunity for these US companies to take their technologies to India, to have different configurations of tie-ups. They can have joint ventures, they can have 100% owned units. We have brought in many states, as you just mentioned. We have brought in states like Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat. Recently, we had Karnataka partnering with us, and we have today also joining with us for the event with Colorado. Now, Karnataka alone, that day they mentioned if you see the economy of Karnataka alone, it is bigger than many of the countries in Southeast Asia. And it has an ecosystem which offers you to have technology tie-ups, information technology. The global companies are present there. The people are based there. There is a very large American diaspora there. So I think the potential is really huge. As from the consulate's perspective, what I see is that, as they say, the devil is in the detail. We have to scale this up. We have to work together to basically reach out to all the small MSMEs, which is the focus of this webinar today, that act as bridges for them, because the initial inertia I can very well understand. For big, large corporations, it's very easy to go do market research or to go find what the opportunities are. I think it is the smaller companies which need some kind of support to find what are the opportunities navigating the states in India. Like United States, Indian states also have different potential. If you go to Karnataka, that state offers something. If you go to Andhra Pradesh, that offers something. We had Himachal recently with us. We had Punjab, we had Maharashtra. We are planning to do with the states of UP and others. So I would again emphasize on this fact that the potential is huge, but we don't have a one size fits all kind of solution, as you have also highlighted earlier. But definitely the consulate, because We have a dedicated cell for this. We have the embassy in Washington. We can answer your queries. We can connect you to people. Invest India has recently, in partnership with the consulate, reached out to many companies who had reached out to us. They tailor the presentations for them. They answer their queries. So please don't hesitate to make this connect with us. In our future roadmap, which you asked, we have now next events planned on many sectoral events planned on areas like healthcare, chemicals, oil and gas, food processing, logistics, biosciences, manufacturing, and US companies. When we, even if we say these are small businesses, their capital, if you compare MSMEs in India and the small companies in United States, some of them are really large, by our how we classify MSMEs, especially in areas like energy. People who are working on smart grids, who are working on new and renewable energy, they have many technologies which they are actually looking for opportunities for tie-ups and also for investments from India into United States. So we will work together with you and offer you, whatever support we can. This webinar is a very good connect for us with you, with MBDA, and we will continue this as an ongoing initiative where we will supplement your efforts and also support you in whatever way we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Counsel General. That was a very generous offer, and we'll take up upon that. And I do appreciate you coming back in and answering some questions. And my connect with you was World Economic Forum in Davos, where I was a speaker. And as soon as you mentioned that and the World Trade Center, I instantly connected with you. So thank you for mentioning your background, because that is very important in connecting businesses to India. And you are an expert, and we all recognize you. Thank you so much for your efforts in coming together with us. Thank you. And we do look forward to your future support. You mentioned Karnataka, so my question goes to Mr. Shashidhara. Mr. Shashidhara, why Bengaluru, the state of Karnataka, is tagged or is called as a tech capital, innovation capital, and startup capital? And what role can Bengaluru or Pan India provide through MSME synergies with MBEs of United States? Shashidharaji. Mr. Shashidhara, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please turn your camera
Thank you
on.
for that question. I would like to, take the August members not less than a century ago in order to, leverage why this DNA of Karnataka and Bangalore has been so much attractive from the global perspective. So where the first hydroelectric power station was established in 1902 by the then, the dynasty of Wadiyars of government of modern state of Mysuru, who are very much visionary in those ideas of bringing in manufacturing in those days. Many people relate to Bangalore today from the IT perspective, not from the, very long ago, we were masters in production. So I could able to give you 3, 4 examples. Like we were the first to set up the iron and steel industry and paper mills, sandalwood oil, universities, big dams, and of course financial institutions and medical education, to name a few. And equally, it was supported by Research and Development Institute like Indian Institute of Science, which was brought in by Tata Group. And in those days, Honorable, our Nalvadi Krishnaraj Avadiyar, the then dynasty heads, they were grace enough to give the required land of 400 acre plus odd in those days. To name a very few, kind of who added to the ecosystem or the public sector units from the federal government of India. To begin with, like Hindustan Aircraft Limited and National Aeronautical Development Authority. Then when it comes to the electronics, it's the Bharat Electronics Limited, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, Bharat Earth Movers Limited. When you go to Bangalore, is headquartered with ISRO, the state, the government of India's prestigious, space programs. So GTRE, Gas Turbine Research Institute, and I can go on saying many numbers over here. DRDO, many. So given a past history of one, century, the Bangalore garnered that kind of ecosystem, having the globally competitive talent pool, skilled force, and the kind of analytical minds. And it's all, Bangalore is a truly cosmopolitan where the whole of Indian minds and maybe in across Karnataka, pan Karnataka, best of the brilliant minds are setting up here, and that DNA can never be changed. And it looks for disruptive technology and the kind of startup ecosystem that has been built up, the kind of research innovation. Almost all Fortune 500 companies are having their GICs and research development. To name a very few recent things, Shell has opened its largest R&D, Huawei has got its R&D, Samsung, and even SanDisk, and the kind of products that are being rolled out of Bangalore stable are, I can say, they're all with disruptive technology. Take a cue note. I must thank Honorable Consul General for giving those good words about Bangalore. And this is a place where you can find the kind of unparalleled kind of the kind of intelligence or the kind of team that is available at a cost effective, I can say. You can do that, okay, at a very cost effective method which can go globally. So basically, when we talk about electric vehicle sector, we were the first to roll out our electric vehicle and energy storage policy way back in 2017. And today, everybody knows what the steps our Industries and Commerce Department have taken forward to put forth as in terms of taking it forward in terms of energy storage and electric vehicle policy. So absolutely, this is the whole background that I can able to put up with the August members over here. Yeah, over to you, Purnamaji.
You're on mute, Purnima.
Thank you, Shashidharaji. The Council General of India had very nicely mentioned about state of Karnataka and brought that straight to us in Colorado and other parts of the country. My question was to you, and for the reason for bringing you aboard was from the private sector point of view, and you explained it very well. What are we looking for? And these are immense opportunities that you informed us about Bengaluru. My next question goes to Aman Agarwal. All the businesses have to do research before they embark global markets. So Aman Agarwal and his institute, India Institute of Finance, becomes very important for us. My question to you, Aman, is MSMEs and startups are growing strong and are expected to be growth turners for tomorrow's India. Is that a myth or a reality? And is China's supply chain disruption a threat or an opportunity for India? Aman, please go ahead. Mr. Aman Agarwal.
Namaskar, Purnima. Thank you, everybody. It's an honor to be here at this forum again. His Excellency and guests from everywhere across Denver and India. Thank you, Purnima, for that question. I think it's very pertinent to go about doing research. It's not something new. In fact, we have been conducting a study which was published in the December 18 issue. And remember, Deepak Bagla is releasing that issue from Invest India. And we basically pointed out, gone back in history, and we found that almost about 4,000, 5,000 years back, that is BCE. In fact, even then the MSMEs or the SMEs at that time, which were created, or the startups which were created, were a motivating factor for growth. And in fact, this government, as you would have seen in the last 6 years, has actually been pumping in, looking at the model created by the United States way back in 1970s, 80s, and 90s of promoting the SMEs, as they call it. Earlier, we used to call them small-scale industries, the SSIs. Now we call them the MSMEs, the micro, small, and medium enterprises. And so they are these businesses which are growing up. And this is not just an outfall. It is an outfall of research which comes out. And I'm happy that a large number of decisions which are actually mooted or motivated by some of the works which we have done. I remember when I was there at the World Bank almost about 20 years back, when I was working with the World Bank in Washington, D.C., there was a lot of focus in terms of trade and business between US and India. But there were also concerns in terms of, because the economy had opened up and it still was not moving so well because of the Asian tigers slashed down in the 97, 98, that what is expected to happen? Would India open up? How will they open up? we were a very open economy. The trade and commerce around the world is because of us. Europe would not know anything about spices or textiles if it was not for Indian traders traveling almost round the year across the globe, taking trade and business across the trade. So we are a country which has opened up, has loved trade, has welcomed ideas, whether it is knowledge, it is human capital, or any aspect from that perspective, from the historical perspective itself. And that is what was a concern. But even at the bank when I was there, I remember there were these concerns. I'm happy to say that the trades have gone up tremendously. In fact, if you look at the foreign direct investment, even during times of COVID, the RBI came out with a monetary policy. The RBI is the Central Bank of India, came out with a monetary policy of a couple of, not this recent one, the previous to this one, and clearly pointed out that the foreign direct investment is still about $4.5 to $5 billion a month, which is during COVID time. So, looking at that kind of $1 billion of investment coming in every month into this country, and roughly about 45 to 50% of it comes from the United States of America. So there is that coining in. And I remember about 2 years back, when you were around also, I remember addressing a forum of scope in India. It's a government of India's body for public sector enterprises. There, I was interviewed when there were about 20 CEOs from the top companies coming and meeting Indians. And I remember Pradhan Mantri Modi had actually asked all the heads of Invest India, Amitabh Kant, various others, including some CEOs from India, to meet them and welcome them. As against previously, when we saw only Indian businessmen going to the United States wanting to make a shake hand, we saw a reverse trend also coming forth where they saw equitable partnership, which is very important, respect for each other. And I think that respect, as Selena also mentioned and also Eric mentioned, has grown up over the years between India and United States. And I think that's very critical when you talk about business growing up. And this is where research comes in. When we look at how traditionally we have been doing and how traditionally we have not been doing, we are both the largest democracies in the world. We are one of the largest democracies with the multicultural flavor, with the multilingual flavor, which is there present, with the complexities of real democracies which come up in any part of the world. And I think that's where both these governments and countries understand. And that's when I talk to a large number of even industrialists. I have, whether from India, from US or other parts of the world, coming into India, I have seen that the understanding, the need for understanding has grown up. I'll take a minute more to just add on to that. You give me Purnima, is the fact that we have recently, about not very recent, but about 4 or 5 years back, into 2016, we introduced the GST, the one single tax, one nation, one tax framework, which is a very important factor because you see, worldwide, everyone understands one GST. A lot of industrialists, even at the OECD meetings where I've been going to address in the last 20 years, industrialists have been complaining from different parts of the world that India, there are different states, different taxes, and so many of them that it becomes difficult for us to go about doing business from one state to the other. Now with one GST, it's more simpler in going up. And the reform progress this government is doing, whether it is NPAs, whether it's agriculture reform, which has been recently introduced, whether it's Jan Dhan accounts, because it is formalizing the economy. You see, many people are not wanting to do cash business, specifically when they come from the United States. They want transparency. They want banking framework to be functional. We have emerged to be one of the largest digital banking frameworks going up. And in fact, it was in news, I don't know exactly, but Rupiah, which is similar to, the MasterCard or Visa, has actually propped up the numbers in terms of the user holdage which we have today. And there is also the fact that it is going to be spreading internationally. Now, that is something in terms of digital framework which US businesses are looking at when you're transacting, they're hiring people, the labor economics. And I'm happy to state here that, we had been talking about labor as a wealth to the nation, the theory of employment, efficient employment through national labor exchanges as a stock exchange. And I'm happy that 2 state governments, which include Uttar Pradesh, where I'm sitting in currently in Noida, and the Delhi, where I belong to as well, which is just neighboring state, has introduced a Rozgar exchange, a national labor exchange, which is going to actually build that bridge between employment. Why can't we come together, which will actually clearly clear something like the FinTech exchange, the MSME exchange, which could be created to actually facilitate what my colleague from Exim was talking about, what Selena was talking about, what Karen was talking about, what our Consul General, what Mr. Mahajan was speaking about, and Mr. Seshadri was talking about, building that bridge. I think I would suggest if your chamber could take up this front of trying to introduce, we have the model, we have the research framework to actually introduce the MSME exchange, which could be actually building up a building block between the people who want to do business in one region to the other, including the financing, which is very critical, which is not only because I am a professor of finance and love to me, but otherwise a very critical component for any business to go multifold or to collapse in any part of the world. I must say, at last, both the government of United States of America and India, in the last 7 years in particular, has made tremendous steps in terms of joining hands, moving forward. And even during these times of COVID, whether it's a question of medicines being provided, Prime Minister Modi did provide that we will provide n amount of more. There are always discords, like husband and wife and brother sisters have discords. There are discords about some taxes, import, export, taxation, but those are always there. Even when brothers and sisters from the same womb of a mother can have it, husband, wife living in for 30, 40, 50 years can have it. Why would not nations which have been building on themselves would not have it? But it's a question of moving forward and going forward like a river into the sea and building bridges all across.
Very well said, Amanji. Thank you so much. And just for people who are watching, G is a suffix. You saw the Consul General using the G. Any name like Amanji means highest respect you are giving to the person. So that is the reason you say that. But very good overview. And I want to quickly hop on to Sudhir Kumarji. And I want to pose the question to him. How do you see reorientation of MSME sector in India? And could it be an opportunity for US investors? A way ahead for MBEs and MSMEs and its impact on respective economies and social development. Sudhir Kumarji, please.
Yeah. Once again, good evening, or rather good morning, all the esteemed panelists. And very quickly, though the many things like Professor Aman Agarwal has already covered, the last 7 years has seen a tremendous change in India. India is moving with the structural reforms and with the revolutionary reforms, not only in sector, in every sector. If I touch upon the MSME immediately, I would like to say that 2006 MSME Act has been amended and all the limits of the small, micro and the medium businesses has been increased. And the third thing is that India is investing the huge amount of money, which is near about $1.4 trillion in the next 5 years, towards the infrastructure development. Maximum emphasis has been given towards the rural development, where we are going to spend near about $300 billion. And when I am talking about the rural development, there comes the MSME there in the rural India. Recently, the MSME sector has been allocated near about 45 billions to extend loan to all these MSME businesses without collateral guarantee. That's the biggest step India has taken to support this. And then the subvention has been given for near about $7 billion to support the debt part of it. And further, it is near about $9 billion has been given to new MSME. Those are going to come up in rural area. So it's a huge opportunity as far MSME sector in this concern. The clusters have been identified. The rural economy and the agro products have been identified state-wise, and the ease of doing business is improved, and all states now are having a very strong, tough competition among each other. And you'll be surprised that the UP, Uttar Pradesh, which was standing at 14th position in ease of doing business, within 2 years, it has come to the second place in India. Now coming to US. What I said that, we are natural allies, we are the natural partners, US and India. And if I look at the similarities of small businesses or minority small businesses or MBs in India, in US, and MSME is similar. If, as Professor Agarwal suggested, that we can have an exchange program through your Chamber of Commerce, Purnima ji, I am suggesting one. The biggest opportunity at present in rural India is the data collection. All the programs of Government of India, the huge amount of money is going into the rural areas. If I talk about one simple thing, the biggest opportunity, that how you bring the non-revenue water into account which is being used in agriculture and industries. One, like the data collection which has to take place. There's a lot of opportunities in rural for the fintechs and the technology companies for the data collection like Manrega. The huge amount of money in Manrega, that is to create the rural employment, is being invested by India over there. So that data where 70% economy of India lies in rural areas, the entire development in next 5 years is going to be there. Whether you talk about the telecommunication, skill development centers in rural areas, the education, new schools, the it's not only the smart cities the India or the Modi government is talking about. Now we are talking about the smart villages. Why we can't turn a smart village like in a smart city? Why this migration population post COVID has shown that finally the migrant workers has gone to their villages. And I just suggested, recommended to Yogi ji that why don't you have the skill mapping of these migrant laborers so that they become a force reckoned with, and whatever the industries through MSME we are going to create in rural areas, it will be a huge assets. And finally, I am so happy to see to it these kind of reforms and this kind of things as a way ahead taking place in India. Similarly, as I said, the opportunities of like data gathering, data collection, data analysis, which is coming up through in every sector over there. The similarly, the product range which is being produced by the minority businesses, small businesses in US could be shared with India, and what India is producing through MSME could be shared, and we can have this online portal. And with this exchange of products, ideas, and what sort of business opportunities are coming in recently, he has done a very great job. He has created a portal over there. But at present, that portal is being used for a limited purpose where to create employment generation. The recruiters are coming on that portal, and whomsoever is looking for job, he is coming. But it could be enlarged into that what are the business opportunities and what are the initiatives where we are spending this money and supporting. So with this cultural bondage, with that US and India, we are the natural allies, and the strong desire which has been exhibited between Obama and Modi ji, between Trump and Modi ji, I am sure that this will grow further, that we have the common bondings, we are the largest democracies, we have the share values. I am sure towards rural development where the 70% our population lies over there, and the rural American program could be conjoined together and have a dream, that American dream together. And MSME in India is the engine growth of India. 99% businesses now have come up after redefining the definition of MSME under MSME. So it's a huge opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sudhirji. I must share this that and compliment MBDA and also all of us participating. We are getting a lot of compliments on our chat box. We will be sharing those with you in emails and cannot go over everyone, but tremendous interest for this webinar today. So extremely excited. Now I'll take just a few more minutes and I'll ask the speakers to be brief. I'll come back to you with one more question. But please be very, very brief because next 10 minutes, we want people to engage with us in asking their questions if they have any. It is very important that we do so. So please mute. I think someone's phone is interfering. Please mute your phones. So Eric, my question to you is that what is the status of India Desk? How many MBEs are supported in the last 1 year through your global export program? Can you shed some light on how many businesses are exporting nationally to India through Axiom Bank program? Eric.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the question. I'm looking to get those numbers for 2020 so I can include those uh, in a follow-up email. But right now, XM is basically India is one of the top 10 countries that we actually support exports to. And we're looking at the data I was able to obtain. We've actually supported over $8 million in fiscal year 2020 to actually facilitating exports to India. Now, from an MBE perspective, we've supported over 440 million over the course of the entire year for MBEs. And that's 18% of XM's actual total portfolio in terms of what we supported. Now, from an MBE perspective, I don't have those exact numbers, as I said a little bit earlier. I'll be coming get those to you. We're definitely in the avenue of making sure that we're able to support those companies in getting anything we need successful. We recently signed an actual MOU with MBDA, which basically reinforces our commitment to making sure we take care of minority and women-owned companies.
And thank you. Thank you so much, Eric. We love you.
Thank
You
you.
have done millions of dollars of business with India. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. We'll help you make it to a couple billion. That's a promise.
Okay.
and you know, when we I know that Sudhir Kumarji was talking about dreams. You know what my dream is, if I may share? My dream is to take 1 million MSMEs of India and connect with the 1 million MBEs to India. And that's why I said billions to you, Eric, because it can happen. It may seem
Absolutely.
like a far-fetched dream, but all the ocean, how is it formed? By one drop at a time. And this webinar is the first drop, but we'll be conducting webinars monthly with MBDA, hopefully, and at a uh, very concise way. Karen mentioned about virtual trade mission. This is exactly what we are doing with our next webinar with MBDA. We actually want to have interactive section with the businesses next, and that is going to be a really important webinar. So look out for that. One more thing I wanted to mention. Why do I think this is possible, this achievable dream, which is going to lead India to a $5 trillion economy? And I'm very confident about this, as well as a lot of business opportunities. I know that through CII report, I found out 36 states have billions of dollars of investment, but Colorado is not one of them. So we, the team in Colorado today, we have our work cut out. Let's work together to make that investment come into Colorado, and Karen, especially you, to the World Trade Center. And I said that in my last webinar to the governor and to the ambassador of India. Let's have an India Trade Facilitation Center right here in Colorado at the World Trade Center. So I'm looking forward to that, because that will initially help us reach where we need to reach. Another very important thing I wanted to point out, when they mentioned Nitin Gadkari ji, it is just like MBDA chief in Washington, D.C., the federal agency. This is India MSME department, and he heads that. He's a very, very smart, he knows exactly what needs to be done. For the very reason, he is now made a booklet with data collection, as Sudhir Kumar mentioned, the people from India exporting to United States or other parts of the world. And the same thing he's doing with US exports or imports, uh, specifically exports, I should say, that are exporting to India and other parts of the country. So this booklet will be very valuable. As soon as it comes in, we will provide that to all the businesses here and institutions that are in this astute speaker list today. So just wanted to give you that good news. That data collection is very important, the point very well received by Sudhir Kumar. Sudhirji, if you have your two books, would you please show it to us real quick? And then we'll take some questions.
Purnima ji, at present, I am not having with me.
No problem. No problem. I know that we didn't, but that's okay. We'll share it in our video with others.
Okay.
I want to ask one more question to Karen, if she's available. And if Michelle from the governor's office comes in, please do let me know. We definitely want to talk to her. But Karen,
Yes,
what are the opportunities World Trade Center sees in embarking India markets for your members? Are there members that are successfully doing business in India? In the past, World Trade Center had led trade missions And you already mentioned that we'll do the trade mission to India. But I want you all to also know, before Karen, you answer the question, MSMEs of India are supported by the government of India in such a way that we can invite 20 MSME businesses to United States, or 30, whatever number we can handle at one at a time. And all the airfare and logistics is paid for by the government of India. And that is a very good news for us. As soon as the lockdown is open, I would, and it is safe for the businesses to come to United States. That's the first initiative I will be doing as a Chamber of Commerce, along with the support of all of you that are on the panel today. And I think Aman's research is going to really help us connect these businesses. That is why I think these are people that I've asked to be on National U.S. India Chamber of Commerce Board of Advisors. Sudhir Kumarji accepted, Aman accepted. We have an MOU with Aman's institution, as well as Sashidharaji will work very closely with us. All these are very relevant people because these are working in the private sector as well. And the research of the institute is going to help us connect people in the right way so that we know rules, regulations, taxations, everything that we need. And of course, we'll bring a legal entity in the next webinar as well. Karen, if you can answer the question about Opportunity World Trade Center sees for endorsing India markets. Thank you.
I think India has a huge opportunity for Colorado companies. Matter of fact, my chairman's company even is looking for distribution right now in India, and we're helping him do that. I've had the pleasure of traveling to India just a few years ago through the World Trade Center General Assembly. Yes. And we have great partnerships there. We have great partnerships here. I think collectively we can work together to build and strengthen the trade ties between Colorado and India. We would certainly welcome a delegation of Indian businesses, and we could help with the matchmaking on our end with companies that would like to meet with them. We've heard about all the great opportunities today, and I think a lot of people think of India as only a tech spot, but I'm really excited to learn more about the especially the Consul General's list of opportunities. Certainly in the bioscience sector, that's a very strong sector in Colorado, and electronics and manufacturing are also good opportunities. So we're excited to work with all of your partners that you've established here, and know that we can receive inbound delegations, whether they're selling or buying or investing, and vice versa. We'd love to. Right now, we'll bring a virtual mission because it makes more sense with COVID, but hopefully someday we'll turn that into a real mission face to face, because there's nothing that beats face to face. So I don't know. I really see that there's huge opportunities in India. I enjoyed my trip to Mumbai and Bangalore more than I can ever communicate on this webinar. I actually got to tour Intel and saw their facility and even sat on their board table, and it was an amazing experience. I think there's a huge potential with the Indian market, and I think the people are wonderful. The culture is phenomenal, rich, and so Colorado is oftentimes since we're in the center of the country, international countries will start with the coasts first. And I think Colorado is a gem of a place to do business, especially because of our innovation and the types of higher technology and advanced manufacturing that we have here. So I am grateful that you've put this event together, and we are here and ready to support your efforts. And I hope that we can partner on some future trading events in the future. So there's a ton of opportunity. We have a lot of success stories of our members doing business in India. But I don't want to spend the whole time listing company names, but certainly it's one of our top, I think it's top 20 trading partners right now. So we can try to make that top 10 in the coming few years. So.
Thank you very much, Karen. Excellent information. And we do look forward to working with you and everyone on this panel and others as well who are joining the webinar. I would like to, in the essence of time, we don't have very much time left, but I will say that you mentioned electronic components industry, that India imports at least $75 billion worth of electronic components. So that is definitely an area of exploration. And with that, I also want to mention that we have signed a $4 billion MOU with CDOT, which is Center of Development of Telematics, which will help the rural USA in the economic zones. And CDOT is a premier telecom R&D organization carrying out advanced research and development. And primary objective of CDOT is to develop technical products in the areas of optical technology, M2M, IoT, etc., along with the secondary objective of engaging with electronic components manufacturing and manufacturing companies in order to embed their products in the final product designs by CDOT. This initiative is very important for the members of our organizations in reaching the ultimate potential for their products. Colorado, for those of you who don't know, has advanced industry manufacturing, aerospace, bioscience, electronics, energy, natural resources, infrastructure engineering, technology and information, lifestyle industries, health and wellness, outdoor recreation, tourism, creative industries, access to market industries, financial services, food and agriculture, transportation and logistics. And so opportunities are immense. We just need to avail them. And I think today's webinar will help us. If there are any questions from the audience, please pose them right now. We have 2 minutes. We'll be ending the session very soon. Any urgent question? Okay, in the essence of just 2 minutes left, I will invite again, first of all, thank you everyone. On behalf of the National U.S. India Chamber of Commerce, please do clasp your hands and join them and say namaste with a little bow added. This is the safest way you can greet right now during this pandemic. So I thank Marvin, MBDA, looking for future partnerships with you going forward and signing an MOU with you. Thank you so much, Marvin, for giving us this opportunity to partner with you. And you are excellent partner, I must say. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the CARES Act Assistance Program and the Denver MBDA Business Center, we just want to thank all of our special guests. We appreciate your professionalism, your expertise, and taking time to share not only the accomplishments, but what's possible by collaborating. And so we just appreciate the openness of your hearts, the openness of your respective entities that you represent. I am excited about this opportunity. There have been a lot of there have been questions that have been posed in the chat, and those answers have been given. We will make sure that the emails are available for our attendees. In addition to that, we will make sure that we notify each of you when this video is available publicly. Again, we cannot thank you enough for sharing your time and your talent. We have a unique opportunity to grow our MBEs and our MSMEs. And on behalf of, again, the CARES Act Assistance Program, we're committed to help all of us through this pandemic. Just one more piece of information. The CARES Act Assistance Program was created because of the pandemic. And so our goal, again, is not just to help companies survive, but to also thrive during this pandemic and see opportunities where they may not have seen them before. And we're glad for this great opportunity that exists between India and the United States. I've learned so much about India today, the growing economy, the largest democracy, and we are extremely excited about working with each of you. Soon you will also hear of a dynamic MOU inked between Purnima's organization, between the chamber, and that too will spell great results for our MSMEs and MBEs. Thank you all so much for tuning in today, and we will definitely be in touch. Talk to you soon.
Namaste.
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 Thank you, Professor Ali. I enjoyed listening.